Let's go back to late 2005. I worked in a warehouse as a package handler for a very famous delivery company, or shall I say infamous. Now, while I was working there, I kept getting sick over and over again because it was like freezing cold every single day in those trucks. And only after about a month and a half of working there, I was ready to just quit because I was so sick all the time and I had bruises all over my body. So I came up with a premeditated plan for quitting. Now, the Xbox 360 release was just right around the corner, so I found a local retail store that was going to have the most in stock of all the main retailers around my area. Now, I worked extremely early in the mornings, so I came up with the brilliant idea of quitting right after my shift was done at like 4 o'clock in the morning on release day, and then going immediately after work to wait in line for the Xbox 360. I think it was one of those things where at the moment it seemed like a way greater idea than what it actually was. So that's exactly what I did, and when I went there, there was already a lot of people in line. The store had advertised somewhere or another that they were going to have 120 consoles guaranteed. And when I got in line, I figured there were about 100 people in front of me. Now, come to find out, the people I was standing around were just as curious as I was about how many people were actually in front of us. And because there was a fairly good rapport going on between us and they seemed pretty much like good people, I had someone keep my place in line while I went to go count how many people were actually in front of us. Because, there's no point in us waiting in line if we're not even gonna have a chance of getting one, you know what I mean? So I ended up figuring out that I was about 105 or 106 in line. Yes, I was gonna get one! So we all stayed in line, and after a couple hours, there was this Bob Evans employee that started rolling around this cart filled with cups of hot coffee. And they started going around baseball vendor style, and they were selling coffee at a discounted price for the people in line waiting for the Xbox 360. Some of the most common sense, most basic yet amazing marketing I've ever seen. Now, I'm not a coffee drinker, but the people around me were, so they gobbled that stuff up. And so as we stood there waiting and drinking coffee, I learned about magical things like GameFly, and we discussed what we thought was going to be the soon released PS3. Little did we know we'd have to wait another year, but that's a different story. After about 6 or 7 hours, the store finally announced it was about ready to open. With this, they also announced that instead of just handing out consoles, what they were going to do is they were going to start passing out vouchers. So that way, when everybody else left, then you could go stand in another line and they would give you your Xbox 360 once you give them your voucher. At the very last minute before the vouchers were about to start being passed out, about 5 cars pulled up. A whole bunch of kids got out and joined their friends in the middle of the line. So after they totally cut in line, I turned out to be about 125 or 130, and the store wouldn't, or I guess couldn't really do anything about it. Needless to say, I was extremely angry. I'm actually really glad I didn't get it on launch, because it was no more than a week before reports started piling in about countless encounters with the infamous Red Ring of Death. But there is a silver lining to this story. A few weeks later, maybe a month later, right before Christmas, I ended up getting an Xbox 360 at Walmart. My cousin and a couple of his friends worked there, and they managed to save me aside a Xbox 360 for about 10 minutes while I drove up there. Just a time frame of 10 minutes or less, that's it. So I rushed up there, and when I got there, they brought out the 360 to me, and they actually gave me a 10% employee discount plus a 10% holiday discount that they got from the store manager or something. And it was amazing. This just goes to show you how a situation can seem pretty awful in the beginning, but can actually turn out pretty sweet with just a little bit of favor on your side and a little bit of patience on your part. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video and want me to make more just like it, let me know by giving me one of your thumbs, and don't forget to say hello in the comments section. It's always great to hear from you guys and gals. I hope you have a great day or a great night depending on when you're watching this, and I will hopefully see you later. Bye-bye.